so good. Really? What's it called? It's by REMA. Who's REMA? The Legend of the Modern Age. It's a great artist.
Everybody get up, it's time to post now. We got a class discussion going down. Welcome to our group's jam. There's Dr. James. Take a glance because it's class time. Alright. Come on and write. It'll take up all your nights. You better read or else you won't succeed. Yeah.
Hey you, what you gonna write? Hey you, what you gonna write? Hey you, what you gonna write? Hey you, what you gonna write?
Let's move on the hill, let's talk with your girl Kinsey. Alright, so pass that book and watch me go. I know all about fooling from my man Otto. To the divine, it's out of your mind. Cool. Otto's school is more than kind. Speak it, preach it to the class. We're talking chances, gotta have your fascination, Stephen Nature, nothing beats Stephen Nation. Otto likes that holy other. Too bad it's not
Harry Potter! Leah, turn it up!
New author, gonna tear it up. Come on, let's go. It's further sometime. Watch how we make it rhyme. Everybody get up, it's time. To learn now, we're gonna break the society down. It's all interpretation. Take your nomos, it's foremost a part of socialization. Alright? Wave your hands in the air if you externalize. We're gonna take it into overtime. Welcome to reality. That means life fun. Opportunity.
Come on, it's time to get hyped. Say whoop.
There it is! Opportunity say
Whoop. There it is. Come on, one time for the baldies. Say whoop. Now the whole group say
whoop. There it is!
come on now and think. Make it think. Come on, do it. We need to talk. Now we got a little last word is right. Depends on how we internalize. Come on, let's land. Stockings is in the jam. Come on, let's go. Atheism in the flow. Come on, let's talk. Is God in it or not? Come on, Dawkins, give it all you got.
Reason, logic, lead to silence. Darwin's appliance. Evolution got us in zone 10. Drop the bone. Come on, gap theory, what life doesn't flow with the guide. We're the ones that over time have evolved and changed our minds. Don't slide from the truth to lie. You decide yourself in light. Peace, Dawkins. It's been real hot now in the steel. New atheists, take a seat. Your science can be deep. You say that faith is so lame, but it's a part of your game. Everybody listen, hot's gonna slam now. God hypothesis is going down. All you are soft core. Scientists, what really is it? Need to know more. Alright. You think that religion gives us our morals? Pot says that's not right at all. It's our response to God. Science has limits, and that doesn't flow with John Hott. Alright. Hey, Hughes! Yeah! You ready to talk? Yeah! Y'all wanna know why? Why? Because it's Christian American time. America! Yeah! Y'all legally a Christian nation? No! Y'all culturally a Christian nation? Yeah! That's why you're the chosen nation. Everybody get up, it's the kingdom of God. We've got the Bible here and now. Welcome to our nation. It's what you make of it. Go on and take it. Christians. Alright.
Let's go down. Come on out. Let's reveal it. We're going to take you to the finish line. Welcome to morality. Bring your freedom. Bring your dignity. Alright? Exclusivists say.
Yeah.
Alright. Come on, exclusivists, tell them. Come on, just tell them. Let's blend everything. Just take time to say moderation. Check it out. Y'all a believer?
Yeah!
Now, you can't be in a religion. It's too much. Come on, check it out. Listen to our discussion. Alright. We're going to break it down.
Man, Chance's class. So much homework. No Chance is a pretty accurate nickname.
Yeah, it really is though. I mean, I haven't even finished this personal reflection yet.
We have so so many of them. Well, there's 4 actually. So.
Let's put that on top of posts.
Yeah, there are a lot of posts.
I feel like my answers have gotten a lot better though.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've changed a little bit. I mean, obviously, everybody changes when they go through college, and I can't believe this first year is almost over. But in this semester alone, my views have changed a lot.
Yeah. I mean, mine have sort of changed. I've just learned a lot.
First, for the beginning of the year, first question was, how do personal reflective experiences in one's social and cultural environments intersect to give religion its power and legitimacy? Did you guys change your answers? Stay the same? How was that?
Hi.
Hey, Bethany.
My number 1, when I first wrote my first personal reflection, I talked about like what my main beliefs were. I said culture and experiences can together steer one's religious beliefs, so I think like obviously they both play a big impact. But it's like a conscious decision of how someone wants to believe their life is shaped. Which, I mean, I think I still believe that for my last post, but I didn't really use auto or burger or anything in my first post. So I talked about auto, that you have like non-rational experiences that are wholly other, that the acknowledgement that a source that separates religion and beings beyond humans earthly. So we can separate like experiences into this wholly other, non-rational and rational. And then I talked about nomos from burger, because obviously the social norm of the culture can influence you. So whatever main beliefs that the culture has can influence how you personally interpret whatever religious or non-religious things that you have.
Okay, I think that I agree. I think that mine kind of stayed the same. But in my first post, you're right, I didn't put anything about the books in there at all. All I said was that I thought that groupthink, the majority of the people thinking, that you're surrounded with, believing the same thing that you do, it gives it power. Your belief has power. I think that's still really true. And in my last post, I talked about how the social expectations of the Amish community are forgiveness, and that's something that they really integrate not only in their preaching, but in their practices. So when there was the schoolhouse shooting and their children were slaughtered, the community stunned the rest of the world and America, especially when they used humanity and forgiveness that they preached, and they practiced that as well. They invited the killer's widow to the funerals. They were really, really doing exactly what they said that they should do in life, and I think that that's how religion is legitimized. And I think that I really realized that more as the year went on, and I didn't really understand that at all in the beginning of it.
I think, guys, I mean, mine didn't really change that much, and I didn't really include any of the books when we first started writing these. Like, at first, I just pretty much talked about how through experiences we learn through ourselves, and how environments help us learn who we are and stuff like that. But then as we continued to go through the semester, I added that religion shows guidelines to help us make sure that we have a path that we can trust, and how there's morally good and non-rational things that we go through. And religion has like nomos and anime, like Otto talked about, and it helps us create order, and there's chaos everywhere, which helps us create experiences that we can learn through.
Question, or the first reflection. I didn't really include any of the books either, because I just was reflecting on what I thought about religion and legitimacy. I pretty much explained that like our attitudes and beliefs and the way we rationalize things come specifically from our personal experiences and the way we reflect on them. Because our self-awareness is a good beginning to engage in a reflection. Because if we're aware that religion's working in our lives and we see it doing good, then obviously its power is so strong. And then when I wrote my second reflection, or my last one, I talked about Otto and included him, and how we define our rational and non-rational ways of interpreting the world according to our experiences, and then using Berger also, we legitimize how it's legitimacy has ultimate control on how it makes sense of all the chaos in our social and cultural environment. Because if deep down we believe our morals and conducts we follow, then religion has all the power and legitimacy we need to fulfill, to live a fulfilled life.
Microbiology is so confusing.
I know,
Who figures all the science stuff out?
I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Speaking of science, I think this one probably impacted my mindset the most, and I learned the most from this book. So what do you guys put for number 2? Do naturalistic and evolutionary understandings of religion explain away religion and make God unnecessary or even a delusion?
Well, I guess for that one, like my beginning one, I obviously didn't talk about any of the books we talked about, and I just said pretty much that people think we rely more on evolution, and people don't believe there's a God, and we focus on the flaws in evolution. And then in my last post, I kind of expanded to religion helps shape our culture, and part of our nomos, internalizing ourselves, and helps us make who we are. And with that, we also include Dawkins of the gap theory, and when evolution can't explain what people are thinking, we place God in those little inserts where science can't explain, and we use it with God, and how that help us explain what we're trying to believe.
Alright, in my first post, I didn't change within my first and third post. I talked about how naturalistic and evolution understandings have helped explain away religion, but have not gone far enough to make God a delusion. Because people use evolution as an scapegoat to atheism, because people have a hard time believing in something that doesn't rationally make sense or possible. But then the other aspect is that this belief that evolution explains the how and religion explains the why. But no matter how much naturalistic understanding there is, God can't totally be a delusion. And then when I talked about my third post, I used, we talked about Richard Dawkins in class and how he really wants to know the truth to life, and he doesn't believe that's God. And so he thinks God's just a delusion, and Richard Dawkins, his main theory is that, like, how do we have an argument of God if we can't explain it with facts? Because humans, they don't understand the supernatural, and so we just resort to God. I mean, that's not true for some people, but it's just a scapegoat for them. And Dawkins tests those people, and he wants to understand, like, what they're coming from. But honestly, I think it just comes down to the individual and how they perceive both parts, the rational and non-rational parts, to the world and religion. Yeah, that's pretty much just it.
Okay, so for my first personal reflection, I didn't really have that good of an answer. Like, I just talked about how I don't think that God can be limited to, like, a scientific definition, but I didn't really talk more about him specifically. And I think reading Dawkins, initially I was really unsure about it because he's an atheist, and I definitely read a lot into that, and I was really unsure about how I would even interpret the book. But, like, some things I really did agree with him, and I think that I gained a lot more respect for an atheistic approach to life. Like, some of the things, how religion is a scapegoat, and that people can use it to justify whatever actions that are ridiculous. I think that is ridiculous, and I agree with him for that point. So, I did gain a lot of respect for him and the viewpoint of atheism, but I think that, let's see, for my third reflection, I said that because humanity makes sense of everything, it's natural for humans to try to set God to a scientific definition or an explanation, and that I disagree with Dawkins, so, is that he applies God and religion to a scientific hypothesis, which he talks about a lot in his book, and I think that you can't put something that is God, which is wholly other, as Otto says, and something that is non-rational, and something that cannot be applied to human definitions to something that is purely human, and that can be tested and reasoned and things through scientific measures that you can't really apply to God. So I think that there's a definite separation between God and between science, and that trying to use science to explain that doesn't really work at all.
Well, my opinion on the naturalistic or evolutionary understanding of God hasn't really changed. I don't think that science explains away religion or even makes God unnecessary at all. I think it's definitely added doubt and the decrease of religious literacy, and it can make God seem delusional. But if you truly believe in a deity, then it is not. I mean, it just doesn't really impact it that much. And the idea that science and religion are enemies or that one cancels out the other is really incorrect. Science investigates, religion interprets. Science gives man knowledge, which is power. Religion gives man wisdom, which is control. Science deals mainly with facts. Religion deals mainly with values. The two are not rivals. And that's from Martin Luther King Jr., and I think that's really true. I mean, once you believe in a religion and you've chosen that religion, then it adds so much legitimacy to your life and to any sort of normal stuff in your life. And science, instead of taking away from religion, can actually reinforce aspects of it. Evolution can be explained in a way that a god or gods or spirits or whatever deity you want used to make the world and just expand upon it. It doesn't necessarily have to explain away anything.
Guys, we need a moment break. Let's play a game. Okay. Don't all jump up at once. Someone show me this game, and I'm gonna name a topic, and then we're all gonna sing a song about it. And then if like 2 of us or 3 of us sing the same song, then we get points. And whoever gets the most points wins.
Alright, let's do cats.
No.
Sports? Shoes.
No. Something more original. We can relate to.
America!
Okay, yeah. Let's do America. Alright, fine. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay, guys, I know we all love America.
America.
But how does the American experience and the Christian experience influence each other?
First reflection, I said that the Christianity and the American experience are together growing throughout culture. I said the American experience has made it harder for Christians in America today because of the easy to attitude that is in found in culture, whether it's in different things that go against the Christian religion. But then I also said it's a good thing because it can make Christians be more accepting and be more loving, which is really what we're supposed to do. But after reading the books and stuff in class, my perspective has changed a little bit. And definitely from Hughes's book, like how he talks about how legally there's no attachments with prostitution or declaration of independence, and I didn't know that. I thought there were. So that was good to know. And then how really culturally we are a Christian nation, and we believe we are, even though we have no basic understanding of the Bible, which is kind of depressing if you think about it. And then how we call ourselves the kingdom of God, and we don't show love, we don't show peace or justice, the things that Christ is supposed to be and preaches about in the New Testament. And Paul really emphasizes, but as a cultural nation, we don't show that at all.
Okay, so for mine, in my first post I talked about how America has, over the years, Christianity has kind of increased its followers, and how people are more informed of what God has done and shown, and what He continues to do in our world. But in my last post I talked more about how in America, Hughes talks about how America is not legally a Christian nation because in the Constitution it talks about we can't really define if we're an actual religious nation. We're free to say whatever religion we want. We're not specifically to one. We're culturally more of a Christian nation. We Christians have done a really good job of promoting the religion, and in the early 21st century, 76% of America said that they were Christians, and all over America there's been churches and cathedrals that celebrate religious holidays, and then Americans have made the claim that God anointed America for a special mission in the world to spread freedom and democracy, and God's chosen the colonies to be the Christian character in America to serve as a Christian nation.
The first answer to this post, I don't really think I understood it. And then as we got further into Burger and Meat and Doctrines and all of them, I really started to understand what the whole question was talking about. When I started out, I said the Christian religion and variation
was Hughes's research into Christianity and legitimacy. And he told us that even though we thought that as a population we identified as Christian, we don't truly practice it. And the Christian lifestyle has influenced politics and society, and we don't truly understand it. The Christian founding, which we think influences everything now, because that's where our country was based off of, is completely false, because it's not a Christian founding. It was supposed to be a Unitarianism religion, something that didn't single out a single religion for America, and that's exactly the opposite of what's happened.
Answered this post, or this question, was that I talked about how America was first seen as this great opportunity. People could start over, live in a land of freedom, and have a choice in their life. And America had the choice of freedom of religion, and people took advantage of that. Christianity became this huge impact in American experience because it's life-changing. I mean, people in Christianity know the impact that God can have in their life. But part of Christianity, and people start seeing that this freedom, this free country, it could be the chosen nation. It could be the kingdom of God. But America, although Christians want to believe this, America is contradictory to that because they don't see justice and peace as in the kingdom of God aren't reflected in America. We started sending out military bases to foreign countries. We're really powerful when we control other countries. We're just not the same as Christian nation. And although Christianity is a huge part of America, it's definitely not a Christian nation.
Man, just enjoying the sunshine.
Hey, look who it is!
Fresh from the hospital. Welcome.
Welcome back.
We were just having a little discussion. Do you want to join in?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Well, we were just talking. How do you think we can live responsibly in an ethically, culturally, and religiously diverse society?
I believe to live in a responsible, religious, diverse society, you need to be accepting of others' beliefs. And to be accepting of others' beliefs, I think you need to have a good sense of your own beliefs and morals. But you also need to respect others' beliefs and morals equally. Encouragement of religious diversity will also help society and grow as a whole. And as a society grows, I think respect for each religion will grow as well.
Yeah. What'd they give you at that hospital? Well, hello.
Hey,
Good, how are you?
I'm great.
So, we were talking, and how do you think that you live responsibly in an ethically, culturally, and religiously diverse society?
Basically just follow my moral compass and do what I feel is right and do what society norms say is right.
Yeah, that's a really good answer.
Thank you.
Perfect, actually. Thank you. Okay, so, how do you think we live responsibly in an ethically, religiously, and culturally diverse society?
I don't know what that means, so study.
Okay, so how do you think we live responsibly in an ethically, religiously, and culturally diverse society?
I think it's our responsibility to experience different cultures and traditions so that we have like a more broader understanding, whether it's like through service or research or however you experience, so that you can be more appreciative of different cultures.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I know we all love
America!
America. Anyway.
Gabby? Stop! Gabby!
Okay, guys. I know we all love America,
America!
but we really should figure out how the American and the Christian experience influence each other and what kind of impacts they've had on each other.
So for my first personal reflection, I said that the American experience has made it harder for Christians in America because of the easy accepting attitude that is present in America that can still deter the Christian mindset.
This sound was made for you and me.